Welcome home. We are WNST, Towson, Baltimore. Baltimore Positive. We are positively into the good times. It's well, let's see. I got apple cider donuts. I got pumpkin everything at this time. Fall has arrived. We're going to be celebrating our mutual birthdays, Luke Jones and I, next Friday on the 11th at Pizza John's in Essex. Yes, they have a crab cake. They don't have any oysters, but they do have crab cakes. Might have fried oysters. I don't think they do, but maybe fried clams. Raven scratch offs. I wouldn't order that there. I get the pizza at Pizza John's. We're going to be there next Friday. We'll have the Raven scratch offs. I must tell you, John Martin, this has been a very lucky batch. We were at Costas on Friday. I had winners. The first day at Fadley's, I had a $20 winner right out of the first batch. And of course, I always say I did that on purpose. But how are you? It's been a baseball week. It's been a football week. Football teams on the baseball, But how are you? How are things? How are things at the Maryland Lottery?
Things are going very well, thank you. And it's good to hear that there are winners on all levels. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. But no, it is that great time of the year. You got the sports coming together in different capacities. You've got that little nip in the air. I have brought out, you really can't tell her, I brought out the autumnal wardrobe. So
Got
it just
a thicker material there.
little
I go
thicker material.
sweatshirty. I'm old and skinny now. I get cold quick. So this time,
Oh,
first day it
yeah.
gets to be 52 in the morning. I say to my wife, we're in for a long, this is a little bit of a slog these next 6 months here, getting through this.
Yep, I get that. I hear that, brother. Absolutely.
Jackpots and things. Let's my wife's been in Florida the last 2 weeks. She had a little family issue down, taking care of things. She came back. First thing she wants to know is, jackpots. We
Yep.
because that's her play. I mean,
Yep.
she
That's what we
doesn't
do here.
look that $20 winner last week. That's cool and all that's nice. But
Yeah.
she wants to win 20
No.
million. And
We
20
are
million doesn't even get her to play. It has to
no.
be 500 million for her to start thinking about playing, which is how is
It
that an
it
industry issue? That's
it
nationwide,
is.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
it absolutely is. I mean, we are in that nice place to be where the big jackpots, Mega Millions and Powerball are in triple digits, as if 20, 40, 60, 80 million is not enough for people. I get that.
When I
But
go to
we are
Royal Farms,
now,
you have that lottery thing there. It has three
yep.
digits. When it only has like 88 million, it doesn't seem like enough. It has to have
No.
that third digit has to.
No, exactly. And even for those who like to keep their money in the state of Maryland, the multi-match jackpot is now over $1 million. So
What is
that's
multi-match? Explain multi, because I see it all the time. Everybody knows what Mega Millions, the games that they play, but multi-match, what is that? Because that's a great logo.
it is a great logo. It's been with us probably since not necessarily day one, but it's been around a while. And you can go to mdlottery.com to get all the details about the game. But it is a game that is unique to the state of Maryland, as opposed to Mega Millions and Powerball, which are multi-jurisdictional games, as we call them. It starts at a jackpot level in the hundreds of thousands, and it grows very slowly as sales grow, and it progresses. It's drawn 2 nights a week. Let's see,
It's
depending on
a
when people listen to
Maryland
this,
jackpot, correct? It's a
it's a Maryland
Maryland Mega
jackpot.
Millions.
Yes,
Okay, so same
yes.
game, same concept, or different
Yeah, same
draws.
same concept. Matter of fact, let's I will do it before you will, but we will do it nonetheless. We'll get the exact um they love it when I start, saying things
But it
that
always
don't
grows
make sense.
anyway. When you put a
Oh, it
number
definitely
on it,
grows.
by the time people hear it, it grows.
It's
Unless it
the
gets
kind of
hit.
game that my mother dreams about playing. She buys her Mega Millions and her Powerball tickets, and she has multiple lines on them, and she says, "Well, I got one here and one there, but they're not on the same line." Well, multi-match really addresses that. You get to play for $2, 18 numbers, 3 lines of 6 numbers each. And if you get all six on one line, and the numbers go from 1 to 43, and certainly you can select them yourself, where the computer can quick pick the
You know
numbers
what
for
number
you.
I'm taking. 36 is my lucky number. You know this. We talked
Absolutely,
about this.
absolutely. So you get from 1 to 43 across the top line, whether you quick pick or you select them yourself, and then the computer generates 2 more lines randomly. So you could get some of the same numbers, and then all 18 numbers that you have, right? 3 lines of 6, contribute for a fourth way to win. So you can win on line 1, line 2, line 3, just as you would in any other draw game like you're familiar with. But then you can play all those numbers so that the numbers come out, and you've got 10 of the 18 numbers, that wins a certain prize. And there are levels of tiered prizes based on how many of the total numbers that you have. MDLottery.com, look up multi-match, and it'll explain all the wonderful things about it. And
You know what? You and I have talked for years. I don't think we've ever talked about multi-match in this way. Like you just have a lot of games. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to play. People have their game, their scratch off, their thing. I mean, these Ravens tickets are your most popular item because it has a Raven look. Branding matters, right? I mean, literally.
branding matters, time of year matters, promotions matter, and sometimes they all come together. And you mentioned Ravens, so let's talk a little bit about that. This year we have a number of experiential second chance prizes, and a couple of them are new this year. One I think destined to be a favorite is called the Fan of the Game, and it's modeled a little bit after our Home Run Riches game with the O's for the last several years, where a lucky contestant is selected. People submit their names into a drawing. Contestant is selected, and as the Ravens fan of the game, they win $1,000 for just being selected, and they win $1,000 for every touchdown. Lucas Austin of Gaithersburg is our leader in the clubhouse because last weekend he got his $1,000 plus five more for five touchdowns for a total of $6,000.
So hold on a minute. It's better to be a Raven scratch off winner than it is to be a home run. There's more home run riches winners, 160 games, right? So when you win, you automatically get 1,000. So it's double. And then touchdowns, and hope we score more of them. I liked last week better than I liked the week before. But they can win more money, right? I mean, theoretically, you can. Well, grand slams.
Right. So let's do the final tally on the baseball season because we only paid off for the regular season games. The home run riches, we had 228 home runs. 7 were grand salamis. So we paid out over $230,000 in home run riches to fans across the great state and neighboring jurisdictions who chose to participate. That's more than we paid last year. So,
well, if they kept hitting them the way they were in May and June, they would have broken you. You would have been trying to figure out how to pay it all. And a few more grand slams. Last year we had 6. I think this year it's 7. Like the first 5 came in the first 2 months, right? Like
they came early.
Hit the ball. They hit the ball in the spring. They didn't hit the ball on Tuesday. The Raven scratch offs though have way different kind of experiential things you get into it than home run riches, right?
Sure. This fan of the game I just talked about, and Audrey Harvey of Baltimore will be the fan of the game for this weekend. And the game on the 13th of October, Robert Beers. And again, you can go to mdlottery.com to see who these lucky folks are and cheer them on.
There'll be a lot of touchdowns that day. Play the Washington Commanders. They don't have defense, so that's good. If I'm the if I get to pick games where we're going to score more touchdowns,
Yeah, but you know what? That's why they play the games.
So when Tucker hits a field goal, no bueno. You get nothing for that. I mean, Ravens get 3 points, but you don't get anything. Okay.
Nope. Touchdowns only. Touchdown scored by anyone on the field wearing a Ravens jersey.
All right, so this is where I put my purple hat on and I try to assist John Martin and the folks over at the Maryland Lottery with my bright ideas. I have a bright idea here. Safeties never happen. And the Ravens had a safety and got screwed out of it 2 weeks ago. If you saw that. I think there should be a $5,000 bonus for safeties. That's what I think. And every time I say that, you're like, all right, so Nestor Aparicio is going to go ahead, do your little thing. But I just think people don't get excited about safeties, and they're only worth 2 points, but they never happen. So this is where I think having that little poison
pill. Don't say they never happen.
They don't happen much.
They happen.
We have one. No, you're not going to get a game.
You're not going to get. Some doesn't win 4-2 based on safeties. No.
So this winner doesn't have to throw any footballs. They don't do that thing where you. That's a different. Okay. So this is just. These nice folks, Audrey and these nice folks, they're just chill out and root for touchdowns. Simple as that, right?
They're sitting in their recliner with their favorite adult beverage, their snacks, maybe a Pizza John's pizza. Who knows what they have?
They're in really good shape if they're doing that. They'll have leftovers like I have. But there's also the point where it's like 4th and 3 from the 38, and Harbaugh's like, Tucker. They're like, no, go for it.
Yes, of course they are. Of course they are.
Well, there's also the New York trip, though, and that's sort of the banana this year. But there's also how many winners get paid? It's a dozen or something like that, and they're only a handful. So there's still big experiential prizes still available in October for this, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, each month we select winners for whatever the next several weeks of promotions happen to be. There's always going to be a fan of the game. There's always going to be a pass for cash game day experience for the home games. And that used to be where the fans themselves would throw the football through a target. And it
I
didn't
like
take
that
us
idea
long.
unless it was me. If it was me, I'd be like,
Yeah.
can I get someone else to, I'll bring Bobby Sablass in
Yeah.
to throw it for me or something.
That
Somebody knows how to throw.
that was a painful experience more than once. So we opted this year to have a Ravens alumni player be your proxy. So whoever you are, and for the next game, home game, I believe is going to be the 13th, I believe.
Commanders.
Herbert Lloyd and Amos Hooks. Herbert from Lusby and Amos from Salisbury are the two winners. They will not be throwing the football. I don't know who it will be. The Ravens will
But
provide
they
them,
get
but
to
they
go
will
to the
be two
game,
alumni.
though, right? And
Oh,
hang out
absolutely.
down there, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's still a field experience, game day field experience for them, but just without throwing the football.
I'm looking at my phone. Stony Case is in here. I could get him.
That's
Um,
not going to work.
Flacco's in my phone, but he's busy, right? I mean, you know what I
Boy,
mean?
was
He's
he
busy right
busy.
now.
He was busy last weekend.
How weird is that? Him and the Colts. I said the only thing now is if he wore a Steelers jersey, it would
Well,
just. I mean, we
yeah.
saw what he did for your football team last week, so I know you don't want to talk
And
about
we
your
will
football team right
no,
now.
well, we will no, we will forever be appreciative. He will have his page, his half page in Cleveland Browns lore.
Can I ask you, as a Browns fan, John Martin,
Oh,
when the
this is going to hurt again
Ravens and
too.
the Bengals get together, who do you root for? No, I don't
Uh,
know. Probably not Cincinnati
no,
because there's a whole Ohio thing, right?
there's a lot going on. There's a lot, you're in the NFL long enough. There's a lot of relationships that you can't undo.
I
So
admitted
yeah,
something this week. I wrote a letter to the owner of the Orioles, and I'm like, the Washington Nationals won the World Series and we haven't yet. You know what I mean? So there's a
yeah.
point for Cleveland not winning the Super Bowl. And I didn't want to bring that up. I mean, I hate bringing up that Cleveland's never won the Super Bowl, but Cincinnati hasn't either.
Yet you
So at
feel very
least,
comfortable saying it.
well,
So
but
go
it's a
ahead.
fact. I mean, and I do facts. You
It's
know
a
how
fact.
I'm a fact. I'm in the fact business, John.
Yes.
But there would be something that if Cincinnati won the Super Bowl before Cleveland, I don't think that would go well. And I certainly, from my
Well,
Baltimore
they've
Washington
been in a
perspective,
couple.
I don't want to see the Commanders get there.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
Bengals have been in a couple, but never successful.
yeah. Well, who
I'll
knows?
bring
Which is
that up with Joe
all the
Burrow
more
this week.
reason. And to bring it back a little bit, but not much. That's what makes these playoffs so interesting, right? I mean, you have
Oh, of
these
course.
teams that are wild card teams. I mean, last year, on day one of the playoffs, someone had told you, "Hey, Texas is going to be the Diamondbacks for the championship." They would have told you you were crazy.
Nathan
So,
Eovaldi, stop.
yeah.
Right?
So
Exactly.
who's to say that we don't have a Tigers Mets World Series this year? You
You're
want to
feeling
bet
good about
against
the
that?
Indians right now, though, right? Because as we sit here, the Orioles are twisting in the wind, and they're just resting our pitching, and I keep calling them India. I'm sorry, Guardians resting
Thank
their
you.
pitching.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's been going on a long time. John Martin is here. He is executive director of all things Maryland Live. He will be watching baseball and football this weekend, as well as other things. Jackpot's up, multi-match. We got scratch offs. We got new scratch offs. You have new games. You have Game of Thrones, and this is in the modern world. You and I both admitted I don't know anything about Game of Thrones. You
Yeah.
didn't know anything about Game of Thrones. This is God's honest truth. Last week we started talking about it, and I was Googling it. And then
There
you
you
kept
go.
saying Game of Thrones, and I said Game of Thrones. My phone hears me. Now every time the internet thinks I'm a Game of Thrones fan. I'm getting served Game of Thrones stuff.
Whoa.
Well, because
How about
you know
that?
how it is. If you just in the modern era, if you just think about strawberries, they'll start showing up on your timeline. And it
Hmm.
is a little like the
Hmm.
man's listening. But I've had a lot of Game of Thrones this week, John, and I know it's your fault.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah. And you know what else is going to be fun this month? Our new promotion called Halloween. Halloween. See what
I
we
don't know
did there,
about
Nestor?
this. I don't know about this. Is
Halloween.
pumpkin, black cat? What do we have?
There
Witchy
you
poo?
go. There you go. You're onto it. So for it's going to be unique to our pick three, pick four, pick five games. It's a second chance contest. You buy $1 worth of pick three, pick four, or pick five. Enter your tickets into my lottery rewards for the month of October, and you could win one of five $5,000 prizes, or one of five $10,000 prizes, or in addition, just for playing, you could win a free $2 fast play Cobweb Cash. So
Cobweb Cash.
we have fun around the holidays here.
I haven't had an apple cider donut yet. I haven't.
Oh,
I did have a pumpkin muffin about 2 weeks ago. It was delicious. It was a little early for pumpkin for me, but I am all about the fall thing. I even like putting my sweater on, like you pointed out, like getting it. But
yep.
I miss
You
summer already. I
and
mean,
and
it's
you, and
over.
you
It's
you know
over.
what's bad about the pumpkin stuff? Who doesn't love pumpkin this, pumpkin that? So last weekend, I was out for I won't mention the establishment, out for dinner, and they had a pumpkin cheesecake. I said, sure, let's do that. It was horrible.
Oh no! Then don't mention the place. I got to send you to some of my
No, I
good place.
can't. I can't.
Well, pumpkin,
Uh,
pumpkin spice, and everything nice. Sean Martin's from the Maryland Lottery and MD Lottery. I tell you what, next week we're getting the crab cake tour back out. I have been doing the oyster tour. I saw your folks, Gail, everybody out at the Oyster Recovery Partnership event last week. You even said it on the air because I listened to our segment last week when I'm driving around listening to AM 1570. You're like, "Oh, we'll be the world is your oyster," and I'm like, I didn't know the name of the event like well enough, and I was there and involved and like all of that.
yep.
What a wonderful event that was at the B&O Railroad Museum. People were spinning the wheel and having a good time and winning stuff. And your crew was out there. And, your crew knows the good parties where they have the good food from my friends at Fadley's and my friends at State Fair and Beaumont were out there giving delicious oysters. My favorite oyster was there last week from the Federal House down in Annapolis, that crab ceviche oyster. They had that on special there. And I was going over to her and just bringing them to people. I brought Ben Cardin, our great senator, one of these delicious oysters. So, but there's a lot of events and fall, not just hay rides and Halloween and other things like that. You bring the crew out. This is a good time
We
to get
do.
out and do some
This is a good
events.
time. A good time to dust us all off and get out there. There's a couple things coming up here in the next first half, let's say first half of October. This weekend we will be at Fells Point for the Fells Point Fun Festival. That's the October 4th, 5th, and 6th. Again, mdlottery.com to learn more about that. We'll be there on the 5th and 6th. And then Monday, the 7th, with one of our good partners and friends, and one of yours as well, Royal Farms is opening their 300th store. Wow.
Where is this?
It's going to be in Millersville.
Oh, almost Annapolis. Okay, right on 97. Okay, good.
So the Maryland Lottery team there and one of our promotional partners will be there at the grand opening, and that'll be Monday morning, October 7th at ROFO. Hopefully you can stop by and
I want to give
check
them
out
some
our team.
advice. Get the fried chicken. That's what I would tell them. All right.
There you go. Good, good. And then coming up next weekend, fun event. We do this and have for several years. It's the 27th annual Endless Summer Cruising in Ocean City. So we will be there. It's still not too late to get to the beach.
Well,
Hopefully
hold on.
that'll be.
Cruising, is that cars?
Yes.
Oh, my wife's all about that. I mean,
Yep.
if there's a
Yep.
67 Corvette, she wants to see it for sure.
There you go. So next weekend, the event itself is actually, I believe, the 10th through the 13th. So again, mdlottery.com for more fun stuff. So yeah, we like to get out and about because pretty soon the weather will get not as friendly for all these things. But we enjoy it. Come on, spin the wheel, win a prize, and enjoy it. Stop by.
Well, you and I have convened together in Ocean City, and I know when I had Tom Perlazzo on down there talking about OCMD, and last weekend Ocean's Calling, this weekend Country Fest, next week they're going to cruise. 2 weeks ago was Bike. They've done a really nice job down there of what do they say, endless summer. Make the summer never end, even though we got sweaters on, right?
Yep, exactly.
All
But
right.
you're thinking about warm weather, even when it gets a little cool, I'll just tease you with this one. mdlottery.com for all of our promotions and special events. And one thing we like to do for our My Lottery Rewards Club members is to give them opportunities for trips, for vacations. And we have just put out there now through January 5th an option. You can take 50 of your draw points from your My Lottery Rewards account and be eligible for a San Diego resort vacation.
They might win the
And
World Series. They might.
that's who knows? Maybe they might even have the parade by then. No, I think the parade will be long gone.
Listen,
But
you don't need it's San Diego. You don't need any excuse to go there. You go anytime you want. It's the
yep,
world's air-conditioned city. I would send them out to Coronado and tell them they should ice skate on the Coronado ice skating beach on the Pacific Ocean. And that's a little like when people say there was a pool at Dundalk High on the third floor. There really wasn't one, but we told the freshmen that. There really is. an ice skating rink at Coronado out
Wow.
on the beach in San Diego. So when I tell people go to San Diego, go ice skating, they're like, you're making that up. I'm like, no, it's real. But San Diego is one of the great places in this country or any country, quite frankly.
5 days, 4 nights at the Hyatt Regency Mission Bay Spa and Marina for
I have
you and a
stayed there.
guest.
I know the
I'm
Mission
sure you have.
Bay Hyatt. I have stayed at the Hyatt Mission Bay. It's lovely.
I'm sure you would.
It's right near SeaWorld, or it's right. It's on the north side. It's beautiful, beautiful area. It's San Diego. 5 days, 4 nights in Cali. I'm in. How do we win?
Just by going to mdlottery.com, getting all the deets there, as the kids say. And if you have a My Lottery Rewards account, you take 50 of your draw points equals one chance to win. And you can enter now through January 5th, and we'll select the lucky winner at that point.
All right. Well, I want to go to San Diego. You know what? If the Orioles, maybe they could play. Maybe because you never know the World Series. I mean, like right now, you think you're going to be in the World Series, right? The Cleveland Guard. I mean, it could. They're good.
What? What? We're in?
I,
What?
no, I would be very.
Oh,
I'll tell you this. I'll say this with respect and reverence, not just to you, but also to the ghost of Tony Fernandez, who came up this morning, by the way. So we talked Charlie Nagy this morning because
oh.
of the game 6, 1997, 1-0, 12-inning game that made you
Yeah,
happy and made me very sad that night.
I
But
remember
we,
that.
we did talk about that today. So I will be holding a candle for the Orioles. The Ravens won't need that on Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals. John Martin is joins us each and every week. Usually I'm not this weird or distracted, but this is what happens when the Orioles don't hit the ball, John, in the playoffs in October. I will have Ravens scratch-offs. They have been very lucky. We're going to be at Pizza John's on Friday the 11th in the afternoon. Come on out, have some pizza. So if you don't like me and you love Luke, this is a great chance for you to come out and tell Luke that you love him, buying some ice cream or a milkshake at Pizza John's. We'll have some pizza, and we're also going to have a crab cake because it is the Maryland Crab Cake Tour presented by our friends at the Maryland Lottery. And I really appreciate, tell Roz I appreciate the lucky batch. So do my listeners that these Ravens tickets have they've performed better than the Ravens have lately. So I'll just say that they've been very, very good. I don't want to be
We,
too unnice to the Ravens because the Orioles are having a rough week. So
we wish you continued success.
John, I appreciate you. Thank you for your patience this week. Kayfabe, I'm a mess around here during playoff time. So John Martin will join us next week. He joins us all the time. He gives us these Maryland Lottery scratch-offs to give away, which we'll be doing on the Maryland Crab Cake Tour. John, this Oriole thing, I haven't been able to plan anything. I only have one Crab Cake Tour on the 11th. I am hoping that the Orioles would keep us busy throughout the month of October, but I don't know. When the baseball team goes wrong, it sets the mood around here a little differently in early October. And I need some pumpkin cheesecake or some apple cider donuts to get me through this. John Martin, the Maryland Lottery, sponsor all the things we do around here, including our Oyster Tour. You can find ways to win. And more than that, download the app because when people come up to me with the scratch offs, they're like, how do I win? How do I win? It says prize check right here. You do boop, modern era. And the neat part is when you do the little boop, and somebody wins $20, even if it's not me, because I use my scanner to find people's tickets, it like balloons go off and confetti goes off. It's kind of fun. I like it.
Absolutely. We enjoy doing that just for you and your players.
Well, it's more fun than just, hey, I won $2. You're like, zap it, and the thing goes off, and you're like, so I would encourage everybody, zap. Am I using the wrong word? Scan. You like,
No, scan's
zap's a
good.
good. Zap your tickets with your scanner and your QR codes and all the cool stuff with mdlottery.com. It's an easy thing to do that. It's a scan to win. He is John. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking jackpots. Go play that multi-match. Baltimore Positive. Stay with us.